Here we find that the papacy claims that its mark of authority in religious matters is its ability to change the law of God, instituting Sunday as a day of worship, in direct violation of God's command to keep the seventh day as a holy day. Just as keeping of Sabbath is a sign of our worship and allegiance to God, observance of Sunday is a sign of giving homage or worship to the papacy. Notice their claim. The observance of Sunday by the Protestants is an homage they pay in spite of themselves to the authority of the Catholic Church. Plain Talk About the Protestantism of Today, page 213. Listen to this statement from the St. Catherine Catholic Church Sentinel, May 21, 1995. It said, "Perhaps the boldest thing, the most revolutionary change that the Church ever did happened in the 1st century. The holy day, the Sabbath, was changed from Saturday to Sunday, not from any directions noted in the Scriptures, but from the Church's sense of its own power. People who think that the Scriptures should be the sole authority should logically become Seventh-day Adventists and keep the Saturday holy." If, according to the symbols of Bible prophecy, the United States is to exercise all the power of papal Rome and cause the people of the world to worship the papacy and make an image to the beast, it need only exalt or legislate the observance of Sunday as a day of worship, and cause the rest of the world to accept it. It will happen. Bible prophecy makes it clear. Speaking of the beast or papal Rome, the Bible states, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life." Revelation 13:8. The worship of the beast, or keeping the day it claims as its mark, will not always be a matter of voluntary choice. Religious legislation will be enacted that will compel people by threats of boycott, and finally the penalty of death, to worship the beast. "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." Revelation 13:15-17. The time is not far distant when everyone will be required to keep holy the first day of the week instead of the day commanded by God. Religious pressure is even now being exerted upon our politicians. Since 1980, Christian Voice has put out a comprehensive presidential biblical scorecard that rates every U.S. senator or representative on moral family votes. May-June Liberty, 1980. It designates which legislator votes correctly according to the Bible. They then urge the nation to put so-called Christians into public office so the nation can become officially a nation under God. In doing so, they blatantly contradict the U.S. Constitution, which clearly states, "But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States." Robert Grant, director of Christian Voice, a group reportedly intending to mold Christians and other morally right-thinking people into a potent political factor in American politics, says, "If Christians unite, we can do anything. We can pass any law or any amendment, and that's exactly what we intend to do." Liberty, May-June, 1980, page 4. Later, Norman Cousins wrote, "The moment religious forces seek to control government rather than influence it, they threaten the very society they seek to protect." Liberty, March-April, 1983, page 26. Since 1988, the papacy has been hosting, by UN invitation, an annual meeting with major world religions in Assisi, Italy, to discuss religious unification and political issues. The UN sees the Vatican as holding the leadership key to religious tolerance and unity to help bring world peace. Current Issues, page 1. The prophet John said that the whole world would wonder after the beast. Surely the deadly wound has been healed. Even the scar is disappearing. The rift between the Protestants and Catholics is shrinking. Hatchets are being buried at such a pace that many theologians say that unity is on its way to reality. By 1977, John Stott, advisor to the World Council of Churches, said, "The visible unity of all professing Christians should be our goal, and the evangelicals should join others in the Church of England in working toward full communion with the Catholic Church." Michael Semelin, All Roads Lead to Rome. It is interesting to notice that one religious writer, E.G. White, commenting on these prophecies over 100 years ago, confidently stated, "The Protestants of the United States will be foremost in stretching their hands across the gulf to grasp the hand of spiritualism. They will reach over the abyss to clasp hands with the Roman power, and under the influence of this threefold union, this country will follow in the steps of Rome in trampling on the rights of conscience." The Great Controversy, page 588. Even the United States government has been willing to court the interests and favors of the Vatican. Remember that on January 10, 1984, while seemingly circumventing the democratic process, the White House and the Holy See both announced that they had established diplomatic relations. William A. Wilson, who had been serving as the President's personal envoy to the Holy See at the Vatican, had been nominated by the White House as the United States ambassador to the Holy See. How can this action harmonize with a U.S. Supreme Court decision that stated that neither a state nor the federal government can pass laws which aid one religion, aid all religions, or prefer one religion over another? Everson v. Board of Education, 1947. This radical change in a long-standing national policy was accomplished almost without a whimper of dissent in either house. How was it that the First Amendment to the United States Constitution was apparently ignored, and the violation of the American principle of equality of all religions aroused no debate in either house? Not one religious denomination supported the legislation. Opposition was formidable from conservative and religious groups, but this massive opposition was ignored by the administration and the media. Are you beginning to see how easily our personal freedoms could disappear overnight? But President Reagan's action comes as little surprise to the student of Bible prophecy, for this candid prediction is made concerning the United States. "And he exercises all the power of the first beast, papal Rome, before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." Revelation 13:12. Amazing? Indeed. This text reveals that the United States will lead all other nations into paying homage to the papacy by ultimately honoring her day of worship. It's very difficult to believe that such a radical departure from our government's principles of religious freedom would come about. But the Bible states that it will, and it is. Many people will be deceived into believing that God is in the movement to unite all religions and worship the beast and his day of worship. They will believe that God is supporting the religious political alliances because of all the miracles being performed, and the lamb-like beast deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do. Revelation 13:14. The only people not deceived by the miracles will be those who refuse to worship the beast. Their names are written in the book of life, but they will be threatened and finally placed under a death decree, for as many as would not worship the image